Today, we're looking at getting bikes for our kids. And actually, we already have bikes for our kids, but we have 4 kiddos, and we can pass down one bike. Typically, we got 3 boys and 1 girl. So we'll pass down one of the boys' bikes. But they eventually grow out of it, and we bought a ton of different bikes too. So we're going to go over some things to look for. First thing is the age of your kids. So our girl currently being the only girl kiddo, her bike is already getting too small for her. And we went on a biking trip, and we found that she was uncomfortable. We were watching her posture on the bike, really important, and felt like it was also causing her to, besides not riding comfortably, also just being able to ride safely and have fun. So, and the younger kids' bikes, they always have the reverse pedals where if you reverse the pedals, they break. And it takes a little bit for them getting used to. She's still not comfortable with it. So sometimes she won't do it, and she'll just ride off and then fall over. So she has tested one of the other boys' bikes, so we know already that she loves the braking on the handles, So we started looking at bikes for that. With age, you also can consider their seriousness of biking. So now that we're starting to do biking more, especially on trails, we're looking more at the mountain bikes versus speed bikes or the BMX bikes, So the BMX bikes for the young kiddos, they're not really doing all these tricks, and they're not as great on the trails. So we have 1 mountain bike, and then we have 2 BMX bikes for the 2 younger boys, and we have her bike, which is just kind of regular kids bike. It's not really BMX, but nonetheless, the mountain bike has been the best. In fact, my wife has a mountain bike as well, and mine is not. So on the trails, they are so much more easy and fun. So with that, on the mountain bike side, the other thing is having some sort of shock. I like a little bit of the smoother ride with all the bumpiness on the trails and ups and downs and curves, having some absorption for that shock. So that's something to consider with age, though, because it's harder to find a bike depending on the price range that you're looking for her, being that, she's kind of not so sure about riding, and that's understandable. So we may not get her a brand spanking new bike, depending on if there's any good deals or not, but then also looking at other bikes out there for sale, used or slightly used, looking to see, what's available that has shocks and what doesn't. Because a lot of times you're looking currently the price range. A lot of the shocks were $200 and above for getting a bike. So I'm thinking if they're not going to be serious about biking, and the other thing you got to consider too is what about growing out of that bike? Because you have right now she's in a 16, which is kind of a weird, because I don't see very many bikes with 16-inch tires. So she's ready for an 18 or a 20. So she rode on one of the kids' 20s versus the 18, You're only going to have so long before you start growing out of it and you go to a 20. So it's only 2 inches, and then a 20 to a 24. And so for our oldest kiddo, the 24-inch has lasted a good while, and it's still going to last probably a couple more years, 2 or 3 years, if not more. So that's perfectly fine. So kind of looking at those 16, 18, 20, it just depends too. So if you want to get a bike that's going to last, but at the same time, you don't want them to have a bike that they're going to start riding comfortable, banging their knees or causing them to fall and everything. So looking at the different brands and the bikes, looking at that, we also started, when you're looking for bikes, have to consider things. So we're looking at the trails, looking at reviews, getting some good quality helmets for your kiddos, And if they if they want pads or anything just to feel a little bit more comfortable, especially on trails, right? She's kind of fallen a few times and is wanting pads. So we're getting her pads until she'll get more comfortable, and then she'll probably take them off pretty quickly, but we just kind of let them go with the flow if they like it until they're good and they don't want to wear it anymore. So for her, she'd been wearing training wheels for a while, and she was just like, I'm done. I don't want training wheels. I'm going to practice riding. And we were like, okay, we'll take them off. So we took them off, and then we just checked on her, after practicing. Do you want them back on? Are you still good? Because we want to make sure they have that a little bit of, you want them to have comfort, but you also want them to still kind of take a little risk, right? But it's cool because each kiddos at each different age, they took the risk when they were ready. And she didn't want her training wheels back on. She practiced, she fell, she got back up, she rode again, she fell, she got back up, she rode some more. And then she'd just be a little bit wobbly, catch herself, right? Ride for a while, get a little bit wobbly, catch herself. And then before you know it, she's gotten really comfortable with riding. And we just let her do that at her own pace. So we didn't force them. I think on our oldest kiddo, when we started to kind of push him like, hey, we think you're old enough, you should probably, take them off. And we did. And then he was like, no, I don't like this. We put it back on. Okay. We don't want to push them and it damage, them. We want them to feel that safety and that we're doing our best for them. So making sure when they're ready to take it off. The next thing with the trips, age, tire size, bike size, right? Then safety equipment. Also on bike raids, one thing that's really important is having water. Definitely. Even for kids, right? And we're here in Texas, so it's like 100 degrees out almost every day now. So having water bottles, super, super important. And what actually ended up that we had 2 small water bottles, and when the kids drink all their water, right, of course, then we give them our water, and they drink all the parents' water, then you have no water. So we found making sure they have good size water bottles and that each of your bikes have a water cup holder. So in a lot of the kids' bikes, they don't have mounts, but you can order any kind of mount for a Velcro strap. So you can just strap it around the bike. There you go. And then stick your water bottle in there. So we definitely wanted to make sure all of our kids had water bottles all strapped on, ready to go. And we will check on our kids. And even if they aren't necessarily wanting a water break, we kind of look at the time and we take water breaks and drink water, right? So hydration, really important, because the kids love having fun, and they will go until they have a breakdown, right? Whether that's like food, but one of our kids really likes food, right? If we go past a dinner or lunchtime, he'll be fine until the minute we stop biking, he starts like having a meltdown because he is so hungry. So same thing for water. Like we could go we know from just in our yard even that we need to take regular breaks. Hydration, you don't just chug the whole water bottle, right? So you got to take the breaks, have the kids drink water, and actually they really like it. When we do, each one of our kids is completely different, completely motivations and personality, but we would take breaks and they all like it. So we'll do 15 to 30 minutes and then stop, take a water break, and then keep going, right? And then also, depending on where you're at, we always have sunscreen, because even though there may be some shade, there's always sun. So you got to be careful with how long you're biking. Make sure you have sunscreen so you don't get burnt. You want to take care of your skin, your kid's skin. That's a wrap. We'll see you next time.